Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I've finally got some good news for you all. The mainstream media told me that puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones were in fact safe and fully reversible. Turns out that in the UK, something good can actually come out of what's going on in the UK at the moment, believe it or not. Wonders may never cease to amaze me, ladies and gentlemen. Puberty blockers for under 18s have been banned after warning of an unacceptable risk to children. The UK finally getting on board with, well, sanity and reason in this department. Unfortunately, here in Australia, they're not wanting to get on board with this. Unfortunately, here in Oz, we have a problem because we have woke monkeys that don't believe in reality or science. In fact, they would much rather go down the entire rabbit hole of butchery and madness than actually protect the likes of innocent young kids. They're more concerned about inclusive language than they are about helping the likes of innocent young kids. So I think this is an amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen. I have been harping on this for quite some time and sharing the actual truth and evidence that puberty blockers are not reversible. You can't just stop your puberty and hope to go back to whatever stage that you were at when you decided to stop it. Nature and human biology is something that you cannot mess with. And if you do mess with it, there are going to be some major ramifications and consequences. If you put a child that is going through the early stages of puberty and you decide, I don't want to go through puberty, so I'm going to do a drug, you're going to cause that child unnecessary, undue harm, because how is a child actually going to fully consent to going on puberty blockers and knowing the ramifications of it? You can't expect a child to fully understand any of that. But no, doctors told me that puberty blockers are completely safe and reversible. So guess what, Timmy? I'm going to put you on puberty blockers, or Tammy, and later on, we're just going to go back to where we left off. You're going to go back to a healthy puberty many years later. Now, to a child, they're thinking, oh, that's fantastic. But to an adult mind, they're going, how does that work exactly? That isn't captured by the ideology or the indoctrination. And to a doctor that should actually have the intelligence of how does drug, when you stop it, how do you go back to your puberty many years later? I don't see how that works. The drug is supposed to stop your puberty. Hence the name puberty blockers. Like, it's in the name, man. Is it that hard for you guys to see? But you know what? They have got like this trans blindness, we call it, which, by the way, is apparently a new thing. And there's a new flag for it. It's people that want to be trans that decide to cut out their own eye, calling it trans blindness. I'm calling it dingbat blindness. Good grief. Something's seriously wrong with those people. So the New York Times actually wrote an article about this, believe it or not. Now, here's an image for you all. And this should concern the living hell out of each and every one of you. To look at this photo, it breaks my heart. It truly does break my heart to see an innocent child. Scars, man. The scars should tell you all. A child, how is a child supposed to consent to this? Scars across the chest. Scars on the body. Clearly a mental health struggle with a doctor beside her. Look at the handiwork of the butchers and the mad people. Truly despicable and disgusting behavior. But doctors get paid. They're not really about helping young kids. If they were really about helping young kids, they would do no harm. Dr. Hilary Cass, who wrote the Cass Review in a children's gender case and published a final report in April, described puberty blockers as powerful drugs with unproven benefits and significant risks. She said, That is why I recommend that they should only be prescribed following a multidisciplinary assessment and within research protocols. I support the government's decision to continue restrictions on the dispensing of puberty blockers for gender dysphoria outside the NHS, where these essentially safeguards are not being provided. Announcing the indefinite ban in the Commons on Wednesday, Streeting insisted he was determined to improve healthcare for trans people. While health is a devolved matter, the ban applies across the UK, he said, after the decision was taken into consultation with the Scottish and Welsh governments and in agreement with the Northern Ireland government. Streeting acknowledged that the decision would only be welcomed by everyone, but sought to reassure young trans people he had met many of them since taking up his post in July, he said, and listened to their concerns, fears, and anxieties. Yeah, so we listened to a child, a young person that claims to be trans. They listened to the fears and the anxieties, and they're going, you know, the best thing for this child is to put them on a irreversible drug. Yep, that's going to work. That causes unnecessary damage and significant risks to the child's health. In a message directly to them and referencing having coming out as gay, he said, I know it's not easy being a trans kid in our country today. The trans community is at the wrong end of all of the statistics for mental ill health, self-harm, and you know what? I can't pretend to know what that's like, but I do know what it's like to feel you have to bury a secret about yourself, to be afraid of who you are, to be bullied for it, and then to experience the liberating experience of coming out. Oh, sure. I'm coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Look at me. I'm all proud of my sexuality. Honestly, I don't care if you're an adult, what the hell you decide to do in your bedroom. That's your own. While I may disagree with it, while I may think it's like goes against the Bible in some degrees, like the homosexuality stuff, while I may not accept any of that, I can't stop you from doing it. But mate, you're just like this whole feelings thing. It gets me. Like, oh, my feelings have got to be valid about my sexuality. Who cares? Just get on with your life. But they're making it all about these young kids that don't even know anything about that yet. They don't understand it. Oh, boy. I know it won't feel like it based on the decisions I'm making today, but I really do care about this, and so does the government. I'm determined to improve the quality of care and access to healthcare for all trans people. Decisions were being taken based on the evidence and advice of clinicians, not politics or political pressure. He added, NHS England said the indefinite ban closes a loophole that posed a risk to the safety of children and young people. That's the NHS, man. The ban applies to new patients only, with NHS and private patients already receiving these medications for gender dysphoria continuing to have access. Goodness me. So they're still giving it out, even though like they've stopped it for new patients, but they're still giving it out to the existing ones, or the older patients. Like that is still bad. Like you should just, what difference does it make whether it's a new patient or an old patient if you're deciding to put a blanket ban on it all? Oh, I'm going to choose who doesn't get it. But the ones that are already on it, can't stop that, can't ban it for any more. Nah, we'll just let it go. Let it run its course. They're already too far gone, people. Like, that is insane. It really is. Oh, I really do care for trans people's health. So the ones that currently have it, yeah, you're good. You're stuck with it. But new patients, the new ones that decide to come out tomorrow or the next day after that, or whenever they decide to free themselves, apparently, as they call it, and have that liberation, right? You're not allowed to get puberty blockers or even cross-sex hormones anymore. It's not allowed. So it's like a little bit contradictory in some ways, but I think it's a positive thing, even though how they've gone about it, needs some serious work. But anyway, hopefully a step in the right direction. We'll see. You guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.